Rouge. That's our intro.
It's hard to remember way back then.
It's a good tune. Chris D. Clark out of Little Rock.
All right, Chris.
Nice.
Yeah, well done. Well done. So welcome to the show. We're back again, and Brooke's over here messing with all the
I am
tech
messing with
stuff.
all the audio, yeah. You're loud today.
Dang it.
You're always loud. It's okay.
All right,
Coffee.
so it's the coffee.
It is a coffee.
And I'm excited about our guests today.
We should probably introduce them.
We should.
My hair's all messed up. Hold on.
Okay.
I have to get my hair perfect.
Are you ready now?
Now I'm ready.
Okay. So welcome to the show. We have a really exciting show for you today. We
That's so
got
exciting.
Phil and we got Steve at Rouge Trails with us today. Phil, if you guys, hand clap.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can introduce yourself better than I can.
Yeah.
Because I botched that kind of.
Phil Penny, Rouge Trails owner.
Nice.
Phil's owner, Steve Schneider, Rouge Trails Quality Assurance.
Nice.
Yeah.
Phil's assistant.
Welcome.
We love our
gentlemen.
job.
That's awesome.
Yes.
What
Y'all
is your
should.
job? Maybe we should let people know. What is it? What is your job? What is
Building
Road Trail?
trails. We build multi-purpose, mainly soft surface trails, bike parks, skills courses for kids and juniors and NICA kids and racers and whatever we can do out in the wilderness and woods. We help get people outside to recreate.
Yeah.
Yes.
There it is. Yay.
Yes. Big
Yes.
confirmation
That
from Phil.
ditto.
Right there. Yeah. So let's talk about. So it's all about mountain biking. Kind of, sort of.
Well, it is about mountain biking. It's about getting outside, and you know, one of the reasons that Road Trail started was because we saw there was a need for trails to be built in a more sustainable fashion.
Yeah.
And that's how we came into the game. It was we had seen a lot of trails. I had been building trails since the 90s. I was a mountain bike racer, built as a volunteer till probably 2014 from the 90s. So I had about 20 years of experience just building single track on my own with friends and with clubs. And we'd seen that the outdoor recreation industry was starting to come around, and we wanted to be involved.
So what you said the word sustainable. What does that mean when you say sustainable trails? What, for the audience, like what do you mean by that?
Well, sustainable trails is it's a way to build things that last.
Gotcha.
But one of the things that we focus on, my background's environmental science and engineering. We focus on the engineering of the trail plus the science behind it, and not just the science behind engineering, but the science behind the nature.
Right.
And the reason we go out there to make that connectivity. We don't want to destroy that.
Yeah.
You know, when we get a job site, it's not a construction site. It's a place it's a sanctuary, and we're just lucky to get to build there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's all about protecting the environment, also for the riders to be into nature, right? And there's that whole experience.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
So let me add to that. One of the reasons I went to work for Phil at Rogue Trails is because of his vision about the sanctuary part of it and conservation. You know, when we talk about sustainability of trails, most people think about hydrology and water.
Yeah.
How can we make the trail last without getting flooded or eroded or whatever? And that has really developed in the last 10 or 15 years to create more sustainable trails. But Phil's sustainability also in his vision is about the environment and the microsystems and the animals and the deer and the squirrels. And so the difference being, if we come up to a log on a little trail we're cutting, instead of moving the whole log with a machine, we just cut through with a chainsaw and not disturb that micro ecosystem underneath the log, because that's all part of the conservation effort of our planet, Mother Earth.
Well, there's bugs underneath that log.
Yeah, absolutely.
Snakes underneath that log.
Yeah, connectivity to the earth.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Yeah, and so there's a lot of
That's
thought
awesome.
that goes in behind that. I think
Yeah.
that's important for everybody in the community to understand. Like, I mean, whenever you set out to cut a new trail, I mean, there's a lot of consideration about the environment and things of that nature. So you're trying not to disturb it.
Into the
But-
mic.
Well, you turned me down so loud. So
I didn't
much.
know you're doing
You know, was I?
you're
was I
doing
talking
this. You're like
this?
laying like you're gonna have a nap.
Sorry, Brooke.
Sorry.
Well,
We're doing an interview.
okay. I'm sorry. You're being. Did you eat this morning?
I did.
What's wrong?
I'm just
Then what is wrong with you?
just giving you a hard time.
Okay, cool. I'll take it. But yeah, so I mean, I just really appreciate that, because I've been riding a long time, you know, and you know, I've never really built trails before. I just ride them. So thank you all very much for all your hard work.
You bet.
But
Happy to do it.
but that makes sense, you know, because I've noticed as the years have gone by that the trail design has become just more advanced.
Absolutely.
I mean, has it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I would think Northwest Arkansas is probably one of the most progressive areas in the nation for trail building and an advancement of technology and utilizing new science behind trails.
Really?
Yeah.
Because y'all don't just do trails here in Northwest Arkansas. You're doing it across the nation, right?
We've got trails going in, across the nation. One of the spots we're working in right now is Portland, Oregon, and then I have a project I'm going to look at in Missouri and also Oklahoma. Those are just a few right now.
We built trails in other states as well. We have a lot of projects in Arkansas. One thing too about Arkansas that I'll add that Phil was talking about is our client, has created these trail labs with all the trail building companies in the area that are working together to try to work together to devise different schemes for building, for instance, a berm or an inslope or a rock armoring section. How much can we charge for that? How is it more sustainable? How can we build this better? And we've all worked together with other trail building companies to create a better dynamic for trails, and that spread across the nation and actually throughout the world. So it's really cool to be part of that growth, and the science behind trails is really people are looking at that now. People go out on a trail, you might have another environmental scientist go out and walk a trail and say, well, why did they do this? Because they're disrupting nature.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to change that and make the umbrella bigger to where all the other trail builders will kind of come on board and say, hey, this is nature. Let's leave it as best as we can when we walk away from the project. And part of that too is the background that me and Phil have coming up through the volunteer ranks. We did this for free out of the passion in our heart for building trails and wanting to be able to ride mountain bike trails and hike out in nature. And then for Phil to start this company and change it over to his science background and actually get paid for it is also a blessing, but it also resonates back to our advocacy as volunteers. So it's kind of, I think we're, sometimes we might be a little slower than other trail builders, but we also have that mindset of we want to do it right. We did it right for 20 years as volunteers. Let's do it right as we're getting paid for it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about, the Northwest Arkansas area real quick, because you guys have been here, for many, many years, right?
Yeah, I went to school here in the 80s.
Okay, gotcha.
To college, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been here for over 30 years. I moved here from California, but I've been here since 82.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys have definitely seen, like we were actually in the office talking, and until Brooke rudely interrupted us.
I did. I know. I was like, we'll save it for the bus.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it
for the
again.
bus. That's like the key word.
Save it
For the bus.
I know, it's a good
Eric,
conversation.
Yeah, it is. And so we were kind of talking about the old days. It wasn't even, Bill and I were discussing like what 2003-ish,
right.
Is like, Slaughter Pen was just starting.
Yep.
Yeah, we had Devil's Den, the original, right?
We had original Devil's Den, and the Lake Fayette was around, and that was about it. Markham Hill, people would sneak up there and ride. I don't know who that would be, but
is that the
and
one?
then Kessler was another spot, and then Dennis Moore's.
Yeah, so Kessler was Dennis Moore's property, right?
They
kind of it. That was always, I remember go right out there and I'd be like, "Mom, is it okay?"
Dennis just lived up there.
Yeah,
but he liked to ride, so he let us ride the trails.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you'd ride up right behind the Walmart right there, go up all of that gravel, and you ride. Yeah, okay. I was in the right spot.
Good job.
I went right on somebody else's property.
No.
But anyway, so you only had a few, and then it just because we were we're talking about the magazine Get Out that I was doing back in that day, and it wasn't much. And then Silamo Creek came up, right? They built that out there in Mountain View area.
They had Silamo, we had Moxon Gap down in Russellville. They had some stuff in Little Rock, Attila the Hunt, or no, not Attila, but I can't think. Burns Park.
Yep.
There were a few, there were a few trails around the state, but nothing like what we have now. Yeah. Everything's completely changed.
Yeah, it just started exploding at that time when Slaughter Pen kind of came in, that phase one, then it just started. And now, so let's talk about what we have to date. Like, it's just, where do you even start, right?
Yeah,
it really is.
And, we were talking about it earlier. Back a long time ago, all the trails were mixed and mashed together. There weren't trails that were just green trails. It was green, black, blue. It was everything.
Yeah.
And you, as a rider, had to learn how to ride all that stuff and know where it was, or you would not make it down the trail. And
the good old days.
Yeah.
The separation.
And there was usually no one out there because it was such a new sport that you better be ready to walk or support yourself at any point.
That's right. Yeah.
you know, but nowadays all these trails have changed to where we have a green trail or a blue trail or a black trail. So you actually have separated what used to be a bunch of different features on trail that was could have been called anything, and now
Built by volunteers by hand.
yes,
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't tell them what those volunteers were
Yeah.
thinking.
With a lot of beer.
Yeah.
A lot of beer, and all of them are expert riders.
I know.
too,
Yeah.
You know, it's
Like, this is easy.
yeah.
so now it's a different world out there in the trails. You don't get those old school feeling trails where you're just riding different levels of things, and so you know it's changed.
Man, I'll be honest with you. So I was telling you about this. I became a roadie cyclist for about 2
I'm
or 3
sorry.
years. Semi
Yeah.
roadie. Yeah, and I'm sorry too.
No.
But I did notice when I was riding the road bike, and I jumped on a mountain bike after a short period of time. I mean, man, I felt like a kid again, dude. My legs were like, you know. So I do promote that part of road cycling because it does get you in shape. But
Yeah.
anyway, about a 3-year period, just about a few years ago, and I turned around, get my mountain bike again. And like, I mean, it took me about 9 months literally to ride all the trails around to be like caught up. And now,
You're never going to get caught up.
and you're never going to,
Never-
no, that's what I
Because
realized.
they keep making new ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Well,
for
even
making new
even
trails.
for us building trails, I'm going to go ride a little section day to mark some bridge areas, but I can't keep up with it. And we've both
That's
been
awesome.
riding for years. Phil used to race all over the country. And
Yeah.
one thing I like about what's happening in Northwest Arkansas is the philanthropy behind this and the funders. These guys are innovative. They want the best, so they built a little bit of everything. They've got a paved downhill trail at Bentonville now. We've got
paved downhill
yeah, yeah. We've got gravel courses. We've got these little strider courses that we're building at Mercy right now for kids. We've got gravel grinding. We've got new cross country downhill flow, rock jumps. We've got everything. So it is a destination, and people are
Yeah.
coming here from all over the
It-
world
it
to
is.
ride their bikes.
Yeah.
Outer Bike's coming in a couple weeks to Bentonville, so there'll be people from all over the globe coming here to ride their bikes.
Yep.
And we're frantically trying to get stuff ready for everybody to show up and enjoy the ride. But so that part of it's cool. We're just hoping that people will think more about the environment in the process of professionally building trails, and letting the people know that use these trails that we did put a little bit more effort into this than just going out there and raking and riding.
You know, typically when we do trail layout, I'll do a lot of it, and the biggest thing about it is really doing the ground truthing well, understanding the habitat you're going through, understanding the impacts you're making, and right up front, addressing them. You know, you want to do that before you even touch the ground. That way, when you do touch the ground, you'll do it in the correct fashion.
Yeah. So to add to that, a couple of days ago we were ground truthing an area, and Phil found a spot that someone had been digging for arrowheads. So he immediately said, "Hey, we got to get the archaeologists involved. I'm going to call the university and get them out here to look at this before we move our equipment in here."
Yeah.
That's why I went to work for Phil Penny, because that's super cool. No, a lot of other people wouldn't think about that,
right?
But that's his science background. So we're going to get them out here to look at it, give us the okay, and then we'll go ahead and start cutting our trail. So that's the process I like about Phil and Rouge Trails.
Yeah.
And now we're doing these state parks trails, and monument trails are called, through the State Parks Foundation.
So that's what monument trails mean.
Yeah.
Is it's in a state park. Basically.
In a state park.
Okay.
And we've been contracted to do several state parks.
Awesome.
And Phil's a consultant for the state parks, and
Awesome.
he's going in and proofing the trail process and the designing and the contour and identifying species and the areas that we want people to go to and areas that we don't want people to go to on their bikes or hiking. And that's one thing that's really cool as well. So we can determine those factors by going out and walking and getting chiggers and ticks all over us.
Love chiggers and ticks.
Hopefully they'll be gone in a couple weeks.
Yeah, right.
Friends of the woods.
They are friends of the woods. So y'all probably, wear long pants all the time.
Yeah. We wear zip-offs. We wear zip-offs.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I mean, I've often said Northwest Arkansas has become, it is mountain biking paradise. Do y'all agree with that?
Absolutely. We're very fortunate here.
We are, aren't we? It's
absolutely
insane. And it's not going to slow down, right?
It's not going to slow down.
Okay, yeah.
Confirmation?
You're good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm wanting some
not slowing down.
It's not going to slow down.
So I can invest in more bike gear.
Get more bike
from
gear.
Fat Tire and wherever else, right?
Yes.
Get more gear.
You
Get
want to
more
show
gear.
this part to Tara so you can
Yes,
to
Tara,
justify.
my wife. I
Yes.
need
Yeah.
more mountain bike gear because we're in paradise.
I know.
Yes.
It's not slowing
I
down.
mean,
Not slowing down.
It's not, and I've actually, I mean, there's nowhere like if I have a vacation time, why don't I go anywhere? I often say that, like I'm gonna go to the Kings River, do some smallmouth fishing, right? Go hop on the trails at Hobbs, then hit a little beer down at
Ozark.
Ozark.
Yeah.
I love these.
I just took a trip. I just took a little
name
trip
'em.
I do,
up
yeah, I like
north, and I
Ozark.
rode some trail around Lake Superior, and it was a nice trail. But as I'm driving home with my wife last week, I'm thinking, I still haven't ridden this trail. I still haven't ridden this trail. I
Yeah.
still haven't ridden this trail. When do I have time to do this? But literally, there's nothing missing in Northwest Arkansas for riding trails.
No.
Because I've ridden all over the country, and I've ridden in Nepal and Bhutan and northern India, and these trails here are the best.
Awesome.
We have the best trail builders here, and it's not going to slow down. I'll be dead, and they'll still be building trails. So
Can you imagine? That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being? I mean, I can just I think back to when I started riding was back in early college, like I was 17, 18, 19. Had all that energy. I felt
Yes.
good. Can you imagine growing up with all this stuff around?
No.
can't even imagine.
I mean, talk about a playground, man.
I'm 63, and I'm still riding all
Are
the
you
time.
63?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, see what
That's
happens
awesome.
when you ride mountain bike ride right there.
Yeah.
And we have friends down in the Watchtows that are 75, 80 that are still riding their bikes. The trail dog guys that are old school mountain bikers from way back.
Yeah.
And some of them have e-bikes now, electric bikes,
Yeah.
but they're still riding every day, and it's amazing. It's inspiring to all of us.
So a lot.
I'm still a kid at 50 riding,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
good.
We just got to be a little bit more careful, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we do have to be
Don't
more
take
careful.
that gap jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. No crashes.
No
No
crashes.
crashes. No
Yes.
crashes.
But I mean, I think that's important because when I talk about mountain biking to folks in the community, they're like, oh, they feel like it might be dangerous. Well, you don't have to go do the jumps and all that
No,
stuff. You can
no.
cross. I mean, you just got to be a little bit, you got to know what your limits are and know what you need to do, right?
And right. And I'm even going back and learning to jump more,
Are you?
because we have more trails that you can jump here. And
Mhm.
so I want to learn to be better at that.
Yeah.
But I want to ride within my skills.
Definitely riding your skills.
But also the part too is the family part of it and the kid
Yeah,
involvement. Phil's got 2 boys that he rides with. I got 2 older daughters that I ride with. My daughters.
Yep.
And the fact that the high school mountain bike league is here now. We have kids that come out behind our machines on the trails. We do volunteer days for them. They have to do trail stewardship in order to ride. And we have some coaches on our staff, so they come out and work behind the machine and learn how to build trails. And all that part of it is all community involved and community based, and it's really awesome.
Yeah.
So for me to go ride my mountain bike with my 2 older daughters is awesome. And Phil's got his little boys out there.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so fun.
Yeah. And part of this is it's for the community. I
That's right.
mean,
Oh yeah, totally.
we're professional trail builders, but we started out doing it for the community, and that didn't change.
Yeah. And that's getting even better. I mean, because the fact of the matter is, you go to get the bikes ready. You're with your kids.
Yeah.
You go ride in the car together. It's time together. You get on the trail. You get dirty. We all need a little nature in our blood,
Right.
Mhm.
right? And then you go out there and you exercise and you feel better. You're getting in shape. Load the bikes back up. So, sometimes carnage happens. That's a good thing for you. You're alive if you feel a little.
You're
pain.
living.
You're alive.
Yeah, you're
That's awesome, man.
And then another part of Rogue that we haven't mentioned is another reason I decided I wanted to work with Phil is and we've known each other for years, but we do outreach in kind donation. We do trail maintenance workshops, and we have like I said, we have the Nike kids. He sponsors a couple Nike teams, so we're also involved in the community. We're not just building a trail and driving away. We do educational stuff.
Yeah.
We taught the Boy Scouts of America, all their crew leaders, how to maintain the trails out at Camp Orr that we built. So it goes beyond just building a trail and getting a paycheck. I mean, we still have the advocacy part in our blood because we were board members with the Ozark Outboard Cyclists for years, and it just stays with you. You can't change that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're about to have to end, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
No.
We got some time.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, we got like 10
Awesome.
minutes.
All right. So tell. So we got listeners out there that may have never ridden a bike. How would somebody get started and why?
Get fitted.
Yes.
Get fitted? What do you mean?
Yeah, you want to get the right size bike when you go. That's going to be what's going to make you have a good experience. And then you want to find the right trail to go on.
Okay.
And a lot of the shops that you would go to are able to tell you, go here, go there, try this first. Maybe the greenways where you start, and then you get to the mountain bike trail. But the biggest thing is to get the right size bike from whatever shop you choose. And
Why is that such a big deal?
well, if you're on an uncomfortable or in an uncomfortable position, it's not
It's not good.
it's not a good
It's
experience.
not fun,
And
yeah.
You get off the trail and so that sucks.
and
Yeah, you're like, wow, I'm really
Yeah.
sore for no reason.
and you could and there's other things, you could have accidents and all kinds of other things if you're not on the right bike. So you want to make sure that's fitted correctly. You don't have to get a fitting, but just make sure your bike's the right size.
And about the trails, where would one go to get like the best resource today to find, to be able to see all the different trails, the different levels, where they want to start?
There's several apps. M2B Project,
Okay.
Which is REI IMBA Combo is a good app. There's singletracks.com. There's Trail Forks. There's several apps you can put on your phone that will guide you on the trails. I like what Phil said too about the bike shops. All the bike shops around here, these guys are skilled. They know where the trails are. They know the green, the blue, the black, the hardest, the expert, the intermediate trails. Get fitted on a good bike. You can demo a bike. A lot of times they'll let you demo it for free. Go try it out. Like at Springdale, you can take a bike to Fitzgerald Mountain and ride around a little bit and bring it back and say, yeah, I like that bike. It fit me well. I'm going to buy one. There's several options, but we try to tell people don't ride outside your skill set because we do have some crazy double black diamond hard trails here that have been built, and people have gotten hurt because they're riding outside of their skill set. So get advice from the bike shops, get online, get some apps on your phone. Most of the trail apps they'll describe the trail as beginner friendly, intermediate, expert, whatever. And mountain biking is a full body experience, Eric, as you know, compared to road cycling, your cadence, you're riding, you're pedaling. Mountain biking is shoulders, arms, back, core. I know when my core's strong, I ride better. When my core's weak, I don't ride as good on a mountain bike because it's all about core on a mountain bike. Phil raced for years. He can attest to that.
So,
So there's a lot of factors involved.
Man, I tell you, one of my favorite things about mountain biking, and I think this goes, we got a lot of professionals in the community, right? Walmart, Sam's Club, supplier community.
White Spider.
Rouge
Trails.
All the professional bike riders on White Spider.
That's right. That's right. We need all of us.
All of us, yes. Okay, now our new team building is going to be going out and
mountain biking.
We need to get size for bikes first. I don't have one.
Yeah.
You're trying to get a free bike.
Go ride the car sloop at Hobbs.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
So we get, one of the things I love about it is I'll go jump on the trail, and just like you were saying, it's full body exercise, right? So you get a lot of good exercise, blood's flowing, clean air, nature. We all need more of that. But one thing I love about it is you have to stay focused.
You do, and that's what I loved about it too. You have to stay focused on that trail, but it helps you download your day because I can go out and I can be focused on the day or on the trail, and everything from the day just goes away.
That's exactly right. That's what I've always experienced, because a lot of times, like, you try to go relax, quote unquote, in some other way, and you still can't get the things from the workday out of the mind. But when you go out on the trail, and when you stop thinking about the trail,
you fall down.
The trail god corrects you.
You don't want to fall down, so you have to think about
Trail god's like, wait a minute, you're out in my territory, so you got to stay focused. You have a little carnage, you get yourself back focused, and then that's good for your brain.
And I crave it even more, and it's probably because of a cell phone, and that's one of the things I've noticed that's happened through my riding career is that now we have these cell phones that never stop. But when I'm on my bicycle, I don't have the phone. I may have some music, but I've got the ringer turned off.
That's right.
And I'm zoned out.
Yep. And when it rings, you're like,
whatever, I'm riding my bike.
That's right. And I better not answer it.
Well, and I ride the Greenway a lot. Me and my wife love the Greenway, and I don't have to worry about cars. And I, no disrespect to road cyclists, because I do ride a road bike a lot. However,
when you're on the road cyclists,
when you're out on the trails, you're worried more about a deer or a squirrel than a car. So that's a little bit different, a different dynamic, right? I actually almost ran into a deer the other day. So that was interesting at Hobbs, but and squirrels, I don't know how the squirrels jump so fast, but they do. But so it is, you're way more focused on a mountain bike trail than you are when you're doing your cadence on a road bike. I think that's my personal opinion.
Mine too. Well, because every little twist and turn, I mean, you can easily pop off.
And if you remember your first few crashes on a mountain bike, it happens, and you go, "How did that happen?" You don't even know it happens.
No.
You just get up going, wow, am I okay? Now I've slowed down a lot because I'm getting older, but I still crash. If you're going to ride a mountain bike, you're going to crash.
You're gonna crash. Carnage does happen.
Yes.
Just means you had a good day.
Exactly.
That's all it means. You know, you come back, you got cuts on you. I mean,
yes.
It's okay.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
It's okay. You're gonna be all right.
You're gonna be all right.
Yeah,
Life
yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's good for you,
So-
and you can tell people about it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I think that, you know, folks getting into the sport, you know, there's just so many options around here. I mean, so many people to help, you know, the community's behind it. I mean, and it's not going to stop growing.
And then you add more to that. You got the tourism part of it, the tourism dollars. The Walton Family Foundation did a study recently that showed that a year in Northwest Arkansas brought over $100 million of tourism
That's
revenue
awesome.
into the area. All these states, we had a National Association of State Parks Directors recently. Me and Phil went and participated. And all these states want to build trails. A lot of it's funding issues, trying to find the funding, but everybody knows, everyone's on the bandwagon now. Everyone wants trails because trails are happy. It's our happy time.
It's happy.
Yeah.
You know, even psychologists are
time. I like
prescribing outside hikes as therapy. So when you have psychologists, prescribing hiking as therapy, they've been doing it in Norway and Finland for years. So now we're doing it here. So go get on your bike, go hike. Your life's gonna be better.
Yeah, we're not supposed to be under fluorescent lights and all that
No.
stuff all the
No.
time.
That's why we keep
not-
ours off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, I
Exactly.
say stuff like that, Phil, all the time in the office and to my wife, and they just look at me like, "What's wrong with you, man?"
Right.
Yes.
Stop the fluorescent lights. The air condition. Air condition is like we're supposed to sweat like we are right now on the
That
bus.
helps
Right?
cleanse the
That's why I
body.
turned the AC up.
Yes.
It's on. It's just set up high.
But it's hot right now.
It is.
You
And
know,
we're
I work.
supposed
So I
to
was
feel
like,
that.
we're dealing with people that live outside and work outside, and
That's
they will
right.
appreciate
It's
the
That's
fact
right.
different. I worked
that
in
we don't
surgery. You
have
know, when
to
I met
be
Phil, I was working
cold.
in surgery. I worked in surgery for years and years, and we were under the fluorescent lights and the machine, the anesthesia machine making noise and the
cold.
beepers and beep beep beep. You know, and that's when I met Phil. He'd be out building trails,
Yeah.
and I'd go out there. I had a lot of free time, so I'd go out and help him build trails, and he was out there sweating and stuff, and I'd be bitching about it, but it was all good. But now I enjoy it. I mean, I'm like every day I'm on the trail. Like I was walking on the trail yesterday, going, I'm so thankful to be here. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid for what I was doing as a volunteer, and I love this.
Yeah.
I love getting up every day and going to work. And it's not easy. We have our issues, you know.
It's work, but mentally and physically, I feel better than I did than I did when I was 17 years as an environmental scientist.
Right.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys think about us as we're working on software,
And our digital marketing.
working on computers with our backs hunched over.
You guys are gonna have to come out and pre-ride one of the trails
Yeah.
before it opens.
Yes.
On it.
Yeah.
All
Love
right.
it. Just,
Yeah.
We'll be your test audience.
I know.
I love it. That's a great idea.
I'll do the easy one.
No,
I'll
you
get
have
on
to
the
go to
bike.
Double Black Diamonds.
Double Black
the first
Diamonds.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
ridden since I was like 14. And it'll be great.
Don't get a bike fitting, ride double black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our number
That's
one.
the
Number
advice.
2 rules of advice.
For
Yeah,
no
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And go as fast as you can
I will. It's gonna be great.
and text while you ride.
And
Oh, God.
I'll be on the phone. Yeah, texting. I'm gonna look at Facebook.
Hey, I'm riding, taking selfies.
Selfie.
Yeah, look at me.
As I'm falling. Ah.
Watch this jump with this selfie shot.
I know.
Yes,
Watch this. I'm gonna
yes.
film myself. It's gonna be great.
Man,
All
that's-
right.
Yep, that's awesome. So thank
Wow,
y'all
fun
so
fact.
much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having
Let's do some more of this because
Sure.
there's so much to talk about.
Absolutely.
Thank you
the
for
end.
all you do. Thank you,
Love it.
Northwest Arkansas community.
Get out. Get out.
Get out.
There it is.
Just
Nice.
plug it.
Yeah.
Get out.
Get out.
out.